Hello and welcome to the second edition of IH series on Zimbabwean markets. At IH, we assist with trading on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, and recently we've been getting questions from our clients who are curious to know what's happening in the economy so that they can make an informed decision. With me here is Vanessa, who's going to help me shed more light on this topic. Vanessa, I understand the International Monetary Fund is expecting GDP for Zimbabwe to grow by 5.4%, whereas the Ministry of Finance is actually expecting a percentage growth of 7.8%, which is a little bit optimistic. But I understand that these estimates come from like certain drivers in the economy. I understand it could be agriculture, mining, it could be construction or tourism. How have you been, from your observations, what have you seen so far within these sectors?
Thank you, Florence, for the question. Okay, so like you said, a good place to see where we're headed in terms of economic growth would be to look at what's happening in the key sectors. So a very good place to start would be agri. Zimbabwe is a very agri-based economy, and whatever happens in agri has huge implications for the whole economy. So if you look at it, output from agriculture then feeds into other upstream industries, and then you also have the World Bank estimating that maybe up to 60% of the Zimbabwe working population is directly or indirectly employed in the sector. Okay, so now moving on to the actual numbers. If we look at the performance at this year, for maize, we had a record bumper harvest of 2.7 million tons. This is against consumptive demand of 2.5 million. So that actually leaves us in a good place as a country, given that I think last year we were spending around $46 million US monthly just importing cereals. And then government has also put out 36 billion into the market to take off this grain off farmers' hands. So what we're then saying is that with all this liquidity flowing, it then should have an impact, a positive impact into all the other industries. You're talking increased demand, and even if you look at the trading updates, we've been seeing from listed companies, we've been seeing a general theme of increased volumes going forward. And then we move on to manufacturing. So for manufacturing, I think last year or in the years before, one of the major impediments was that of a reliable source of foreign currency to import raw materials. So whilst we're saying that for agri, good thing, we had a bumper harvest, and some of our output ended up in manufacturing. A lot of our inputs are actually imported, but then without adequate foreign currency supplies, I think it was actually strangling production within the manufacturing sector. So this year, or at least after introduction of the auction system, we've seen increased uptick in capacity utilization for manufacturing, and I think for this year we're planning to end the year at around 60% from 49% last year. So that's actually a very good indicator of what's happening in the broader economy. And then we also move on to one of our major sectors, mining. So mining as well, I think as a country really benefited from firming commodity prices on the international markets. For example, for last year, I think gold, we didn't do as well in terms of volumes, but we still delivered record gold receipts. And then if you look at performance for this year, excluding gold, we meet our target in just 8 months. That's in terms of revenue receipts. And then now moving on to the gold sector, I think we've had a lot of policies that encourage gold production. So that has also helped increase volumes going forward. And then we've also made, I think we equaled the 2020 gold production in just 8 months as well. So it seems that if you just look at the general trends that we're seeing from sector to sector, it seems like we really are pulling in the numbers. And in my view, saying that Zimbabwe will have a real GDP growth of 5% in 2021 is not implausible, given it's from a low base effect, and generally we are seeing increased production and the numbers pulling in from the different sectors.
That's actually great. So it looks like these three sectors are doing well. How about like tourism? Because I understand that should have the sector, in my opinion, I think right now is suffering from COVID-19. Is that the case? Can you try to verify that?
So in terms of tourism, as at the end of 2020, we had shared off around 90% of arrivals, given that most of our source markets were under lockdown. And then in 2021, it hasn't really gotten any better, given that most of these countries are now undertaking vaccination efforts. And then as well, we're also considering our land borders are still closed, but with reason. So I do expect that in the short term, tourism is going to remain muted. But the tourism industry has taken good initiative. They're promoting domestic tourism. And then we're also seeing that from the trading updates, notice that the government and NGOs are the main customer base at the moment, but they just seem to be holding it together. But I wouldn't say that they're in a very good position at this point.
So my assumption is that probably tourism is going to be one of the reopening stocks, like counters in the tourism are going to be some of the reopening stocks when we go post-COVID, which is like they're going to do great post-COVID. All right. So Vanessa, looking into 2022, what's your view on the economy? What should we expect in terms of general economic performance, as well as what can go wrong, potentially go wrong? Anything? I just want to have an understanding of what to expect in 2022.
I do believe that we can maintain the current positive trajectory into 2022, but key risks to watch out for, we're heading into elections, so we need to keep track of the political landscape. And then also it seems regionally we've been having a lot of electricity issues that then also feeds into our capacity utilization and production. And then also I think also a key factor to watch out for is the stability of the auction system and the monetary space.
So for the most part, we can say that we are expecting 2022 to be also a good year for the country, although we are coming from a very low base, but we are saying that we are progressing as a country. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And guys, I really apologize because of our time. We have to end here, but please stay tuned as we will be coming with more topics to you. Also, comment, let us know what you want us to cover. Like our pages, subscribe, and share our content. Until next time, cheers.